We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. We'll be able to feel present, like we're right there with people, no matter how far apart we actually are.
Welcome everybody. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the metaverse. What is the metaverse? The opportunities and careers in the metaverse, use cases of the metaverse, future technologies of the metaverse, and every other thing that you may need to know as an individual, as someone who is actually positioned to take advantage of technology and also upcoming trends in technology and everything you actually need to know about the metaverse. So jumping into the video, what is the metaverse? The metaverse is said to be the next version of the internet. We have internet 1.0, which is an era where there are some few players who actually create content and give it to others, and all of us are consumers of that content. We don't have the opportunity to interact with what they're sharing with us. And then we have internet 2.0, where we can interact with content, we can give feedback, the world of social media. And then internet 3.0 is about being inside the interaction, that is having the co-presence, that is feeling you are inside of the interaction rather than just dealing with that, rather than just interacting with others, but you are inside of the interaction. And it brings with it the opportunity to create your world. That is, you can create your own personal world yourself. That is, you can create maybe a replica of your room, of your house in the virtual world. You can create different things. In as much as you can imagine it, then you can experience it. You can create a room, someone can create it for you. We have a World Horizon, which is a free app on VR headset. It allows you to create your avatar and also create spaces, whatever spaces that you may want to interact with. And in creating your space, we have different features. For example, you can create spaces that actually have floating features. That is, people can actually be floating in your space. You can create your world, you can create your spaces, you can create your business space, and then invite others into that space. What we have to know as well is that the metaverse is being built on the game engine. The game engine is like an already written code that handles 2D and 3D graphics. They specifically determine how physics and collision works in the metaverse. So game engine instructs the spaces, the avatars, how to interact and respond to input. So, and talking about this game engine, we have two key players, which are Unreal and Unity 3D. They are the biggest players in the multiverse game engine space, and developers sometimes pay them to get access to the game engine. Your personality in the metaverse. Your personality in the metaverse will be expressed by avatars. Avatars are what profile pictures are to social media. So you can have different avatars for different reasons in the metaverse. You can have an avatar for social events. You can have an avatar for official and formal events, and you can also have an avatar for gaming. So you can build different avatars, and we have different platforms whereby you can create your avatars. We have Horizon, we have Zepeto, we have Ready Player Me, and other applications like that. They can help you. You can use those platforms to create an avatar and use it as you want. You can change the hairstyle, you can change the dress, you can just make it whatever it is that you want to make it, and be using the avatars to represent you in different spaces as you want. And the most amazing part of it is that there are some avatars that are actually still under development, like pixel codec avatars, which actually it can be a real-time transmission of your face to the other person in a digital space. Of course, I think some people are using this already, so it's actually a very good development and a very good one. That is, your face is transmitted in real time to another person in digital space, so that you have all the features. It won't be as if you are actually relating with an animation or anything. It will actually feel very, very real and very, very genuine. And depending on the platform you use to develop your avatars will also depend on how realistic it's going to be. There are some high quality avatars you can create, more stylized avatars that you can create that will actually look exactly like a human being, that have pores, that have that makes facial expression, and every other that makes your complexion and every other things like that. So that is talking about avatars in the metaverse. And also, what's right to note is access points into the metaverse. Amongst other factors, accessibility is one of the principles behind building the metaverse, and this will be enhanced by providing different access points for people into metaverse spaces. There are different ways to access the metaverse. There are spaces today you can access to your personal computer, tablets, phones, Macs, smartphones, PC supported VR devices, standalone VR devices, etc. But the tool you actually use in accessing the metaverse will determine the level of immersiveness that you are going to experience. And the current tool that provides the most immersive experience is the VR headset and other wearables providing the most immersive experience in the metaverse. So the VR actually provide the most immersive experience because you are totally shut off from the physical world and you are just in the virtual world, just like you are in a dream. And the metaverse being underway, there will still be other technologies that will be used to access the metaverse in the future. And the world you can experience right now without AR or VR or VR hardware include Space VR, VR Chat, Decentraland, amongst many others. So there are different ways to access the metaverse. And if you join with others who use the VR headset from your laptop or desktop, you will also appear on a shared screen with them. And then you can even do calling to your phone where everyone hear your voice. But your medium of accessing the metaverse determines the level of immersion that you will experience. The immersion is how absorbed you will be in the experience. The realness of the co-presence, the most important factor of the metaverse is that you are in the experience. And so what you use to access the metaverse also actually determines how you will enjoy this experience. And VR headset is actually the tool that provides the most immersive experience currently. And there are different realities that you can also interact with in the metaverse. We have three realities, all of them are under XR, which is extended reality. We have mixed reality, we have augmented reality, and then we also have virtual reality. So don't worry yourself much about that, I will explain it. When you're talking about uh virtual reality is like a total shutting off from the physical world, and you are transported into the virtual world. And when you wear the VR headset on you, you are totally you can't see what's happening in your environment again. You are totally translated into the metaverse, into a virtual world. That's like a dream. That is like just as if you are in a dream. You are totally shut off from the physical world. You don't know what's happening around you. You only know what's happening in your dream. And then we have augmented reality, which is AR. AR is an overlay of digital objects on the physical world. AR is a digital overlay of objects in the physical world, just like Google Maps. Sometimes some aspect of Google Map whereby you can actually share bring it up on your phone, and then your phone will actually view the road, and then it will actually bring directions, it will point to some things, and then you will see an overlay, you see a lot of description on it. And a very good example of augmented reality is actually Snapchat filters and a lot of filters that we use today. It is actually still you in the picture, but something else has been overlaid on you, and then that thing that has been overlaid on you actually is an additional information. So you cannot interact with what is being overlaid, it is just overlaid on you. So augmented reality is just is an overlay of digital objects on the physical world. Augmented reality will come by probably maybe you actually fetch a screen of your co-worker in the office, and you put it beside you while you're actually using it to adjust something on your screen as well. So the information is overlaid on the physical world, and then you can copy the information and then use it for yourself. That is augmented reality. And then the last one, which is mixed reality, is like a development on augmented reality. Mixed reality is like a development on augmented reality. Like you are not totally shut off from the physical world. You know what is happening in the physical world, but you are also connected to a virtual world. You are actually experiencing a digital world while you are still physically present in the physical world. I give an example. Virtual reality is just as if you are dreaming. So you are totally shut off, but mixed reality is just as if someone who is daydreaming. When someone is daydreaming, the person can still actually see sometimes what is around him. If he's not too lost in it, the person can still see something around him, and it can easily be called back. So depending on what he gives attention to, maybe to the daydream or to his environment as at that time. So the major difference between mixed reality and augmented reality is that the objects in the you are actually experiencing a virtual world in mixed reality, and you can interact with those objects, but in augmented reality you cannot interact with those objects. It is just an overlay of digital objects or a digital information or a digital space on the physical world, and you cannot interact with them. But in a mixed reality, you can interact with the world, you can interact with them. So that is the difference. And then going from these experiences and the access points into the metaverse, there are some unique features that you need to know about the metaverse. And one of the most important features of the metaverse is the interoperability nature of the metaverse. Interoperability nature of the metaverse, which makes you navigate between spaces without limits. For example, to use different social medias today, you have to open different accounts. If you want to use Facebook, you have an account. You want to use Discord, you have an account. Telegram, you have an account. Twitter, you have an account, and different things like that. And you have different information for different accounts. For example, you may have the blue mark on Instagram and not have the blue mark on Twitter. So things like that. You have different informations. But the interoperability nature of the metaverse is that there can be an exchange of information on all the platforms that support the metaverse and the metaverse spaces. That when you go from spaces to spaces, platform to platforms, you can still retain all your avatars, all your collections, and everything that makes you virtually. You can still use this everywhere else. So this is the interoperability nature of the metaverse. You can use your digital wallet in this space and then use it in another space. You can take your NFT with you from one space and then take it to another place, to another space. And the blockchain technology is actually there to actually verify that okay, this thing is actually correct, and to actually buttress the interoperability nature of the metaverse. In 2022 summer, a group named the Metaverse Standard Forum was created, and companies like Microsoft, Adobe, Meta, Epic Games, etc. were all part of the forum, and the forum was created to ensure interoperability in the metaverse. The metaverse is also planning to bring in different 2D services like Slack, Canva, and the social media platforms into the metaverse, so that you won't have to leave the metaverse because you want to attend to other things outside of the metaverse. And that talks about the interoperability nature of the metaverse. And then going forward, we also have the decentralized system, which is also a feature of the metaverse. When talking about the decentralized feature of the metaverse will operate on a decentralized system, removing a giant player solely because they are powerful or probably they are the first into the space. The power of influence in the metaverse will be freely available to everyone, depending on their contribution to the metaverse, and no one company will own it. It will be just like the internet, and the metaverse will use open source in creating the software and technologies that are required for it to function. So this will enable people who are less inclined to coding and lack financial capacity to build the technology and have access to what others have done, and this can enhance engagement, variety, and diversity in the metaverse. Ground floor for the metaverse, and the ground floor is the features that must be incorporated into the metaverse. And after that floor, the floor will now support the floor above it, where we have companies like Meta, Google, and the likes they must necessarily adopt what we have on the ground floor to support whatever it is that they want to build and whatever it is that will enhance the experiences in the metaverse. And what they are building, the ground floor, what they are building in other floors will be open source so that everybody can take advantage of it. Nobody will own it. It will be like the internet. Moving forward, we can talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion as one of the features of the metaverse, which will be on the ground floor. So everyone currently working on the metaverse have the goal of equity, diversity, and inclusion in mind for the fully optimized metaverse. How are these going to be achieved, and what are the challenges? The main challenge is accessibility. The main challenge of this is accessibility. The metaverse will require a high-speed internet access, and there is also need for more bandwidth for accessing the metaverse than many experiences that we have in Web 2.0. There will be needed for more bandwidth, and currently, people are not online. So what's going to be the solution? Metaverse companies are aiming to work with organizations, companies, and governments to improve the widespread access to broadband internet. And a positive development on this is the intervention and intention of the US government to donate 350 billion US dollars to Africa to aid digital economy.
So today, I'm announcing a new initiative the digital transformation with Africa, working with Congress to invest $350 billion to facilitate more than almost $500 million in financing to make sure people across Africa can participate in the digital economy. That includes partnerships like new collaboration between Microsoft and Visa to bring in internet access to 5 million Africans, part of Microsoft's commitment to bring access to 100 million people across Africa by the end of the year 2025.
So this actually will go a long way in solving this problem of inclusion in the metaverse. Another distinct but related challenge in terms of accessibility is the price of XR gadgets, that is external reality gadgets. External reality stands for the different realities that we have: AR, VR, and MR. So the VR headsets, AR glasses are prohibitively pricey for a lot of people. However, the metaverse is being built with different access points of entry in focus. Like you can use your mobile devices, your laptop, and etc. to access the metaverse. However, immersiveness is at the heart of the metaverse, and this will limit many people at first, but more options will emerge in the future for accessing the metaverse. And so we talk about the challenges of the challenges of equity, the challenges of inclusion, the challenges of diversity. Now, talking about the focus on already having diversity, inclusion, and equity that the metaverse enhances. For example, you want to take a course and your desired professor is halfway around the world. You want to start selling your artwork, you want to acquire a new skill so you can change your breathtaking job. Although the existing Web 2.0 provides ways of solving some of these problems, however, the level of immersiveness provided by the metaverse makes learning much more easier, offers better options, and gives you almost 100% higher yield on marketing your products and services. And this to a large extent is economic inclusion for everybody. So, for example, as well, Open Brush and Art program allows users to draw and paint together in virtual reality, no matter where they are. Also, different training apps like Immersive Main, where you learn a language interacting with native speakers and use the language to interact in real life scenario. So this option removes a lot of financial barriers from people who want to acquire new skills, education, and market their products or services globally. Also, another level of inclusion is through embodied avatars, which gives users the freedom for self-expression without restraint, be who they want to be and do what they really want to do. Some culture reserves some rights for specific genders, and the affected genders felt neutralized and unable to express themselves. However, this will not be the case in the metaverse. A female can operate as a male avatar and vice versa, and there is no restriction at all based on gender differences in the metaverse. Now, going into the use cases of the metaverse and opportunities in the metaverse, I'll be discussing this with the use cases will actually give us a cue into the opportunities in the metaverse. Now we'll be talking about the use cases and the opportunities that accrue in the metaverse. The first use case I'll be talking about is how the metaverse is being used for education purpose. You can access information in the metaverse that couldn't have been possible through other means. You can use app like also VR if you are a medical student and use it to practice new techniques in surgery and keep practicing until you get it right. A platform such as Prisms offers middle and high school students VR courses in mathematics. And these students can apply the learning that they acquire to real world experience, and they can also get quick feedbacks. A platform such as Stimuli as well can offers an educational platform for teachers, schools, and students to connect with each other. A, a public school in US, Dallas Hybrid Prep, has students access their Stimuli Metaverse, which merges virtual learning experience with hands-on work.
We have a few students that do extremely well in this context, and we need to be able to reach them. The thing is that we would be providing this with our own certified teachers, so we wouldn't lose kids to private school, homeschool, no school, charter school, or anything else, and these families could then navigate our system back and forth.
And also, Eduverse also debuted in 2022 as the first K-12 educational metaverse. The platform is dedicated to education and connects students, teachers, and institutions with the metaverse option. Talking about education as well, the medical line is actually advancing ahead other discipline in the metaverse. Medical students at Colorado State University, through the use of double body program, can now practice dissecting cadavers through the use of VR. You know what we mean by cadavers are dead bodies, the bodies of dead people, because in medical line there is actually there is a common saying that the dead actually teach the living. So people use the bodies of dead people to actually carry out some experience, which actually enrich research and development in the medical line. And now, because of sometimes there are actually a lesser ratio of cadavers that different universities have to the numbers of students, and then this has actually become a cause of disadvantage to some universities because they have fewer the cadavers that students can that students can experiment with. Now we has introduced another system into this program that you can actually dissect cadavers through the use of VR, that every student can even work on. We can have one ratio of a cadaver to a student, so this is actually sustainable on the long run for many institutions. And a school such as the Yonglo Lin School of Medicine in Singapore uses VR to teach hands-on technique that are being used in the operating room to students. In Singapore as well, all medical schools at the National University of Singapore will be taught patient safety through a virtual reality game. The move was actually influenced by the social distancing during the pandemic because they don't want to expose the students to the coronavirus, and then this move was actually initiated, and then it becomes a practice that through a virtual reality game, students can be taught safety techniques in medicine. And aside from this, also in Singapore, a private education provider in Singapore known as Aventis announced Asia's first metaverse graduate school. The European Consortium of Innovative Universities also run an XR campus, a virtual world that allows skill development and collaboration across Europe. And another educational part of the metaverse is for job seekers. There are jobs that require a lot of training due to handling of heavy equipment, operating in extreme weather, and a lot of things like probably chemical handling and other things. But some of these jobs have actually been moving to actually training their employee through the use of extended reality, through the use of VR. And this has actually removed a lot of risk that were involved by people getting exposed to chemical because they are beginner, by people actually breaking a lot of equipment. This has actually leads to development. And Hilton, one of the largest hospitality provider company, uses the metaverse to teach its staff how to handle complex interactions with guests from the reception to the dining room. The metaverse provides a perfect platform for education, information, and job training. And aside from education, health is also an important factor that actually the metaverse is providing a lot of opportunities for people, and a lot of health professionals are using metaverse to achieve their aim. Let's talk a little bit about health in the metaverse. The metaverse will also play a crucial role in the health services. You can meet your doctor in a virtual clinic where your avatar and your doctor avatar can meet. Although some aspect of medicine services cannot be replaced virtually, For example, you want to, transfusion of blood, injection, and all those things cannot be replaced, cannot be done virtually. But as it's always been said that prevention is the best medicine. So by having a smooth interaction with your doctor, you can actually prevent a lot of diseases. Also, the feature of the metaverse promise an instance where you can even invite the hologram of your doctor into your room, show your doctor your medicine, and he can advise you on how to take your medicine. Also, in terms of health, there are different communities in the metaverse. Currently, there are currently different communities in the metaverse that actually talks about probably infertility in men, that talks about cancer, that talks about a lot of diseases and health issues that actually the men battles with. But some people refuse to actually join this group because of anxiety, because of some are shy, some don't want to be known that, oh, I'm experiencing this kind of health issue. But the metaverse actually totally eradicates this form of anxiety and gives a lot of people the opportunity to be part of the health community that they are supposed to be part of, removing the fear of the fear of the unknown, removing anxieties, and people can easily express themselves because you are interacting with your avatar and you can decide how much of yourself you wish to be known or you want to conceal, and you can get the richness of the information, and you can get all the information that you need that will actually serve for your health benefit. And also, one thing that also enhances health in the metaverse is that there are different sensors today that many people actually use that give them results of their health status. They can use some sensors. For example, we have pregnancy tests which you can do on your own, and some other health issue sensors that we have today. You can use these and then share the results with your doctor, and your doctor can actually advise you, okay, this is the right medicine to take, that's the right medicine to take, and things like that. Very, very interesting to know as well is that VR is being used as a pain reduction procedure, and it's actually working for a lot of medical practitioners already. And let me give an example. Head of biobehavioral pain laboratory at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, Dr. Jeffrey Gold, actually uses his beer blast intervention when treating your young patients, doing bandage changes, IV placement, and blood draws to reduce pain and anxiety from children. Doing bandage change, IV placement, and drawing of blood, it actually involves pain. But when the person that is actually being conducted on is actually exposed to a VR experience, the pain is actually being reduced. Also, specialists like Hunter Hoffman and David Patterson from the University of Washington have been using VR as a way to reduce acute pain through an experience called snowboard.
This is Sam Brown, a soldier.
Men have to endure rounds of surgery, skin grafts, and painful skin stretching.
This is a battle that's going to take years to get back to being how it was prior to this.
But while Brown's body fights that battle, virtual reality technology lets his brain enjoy hurling snowballs to the music of Paul Simon. University of Washington researchers Hunter Hoffman and David Patterson designed the virtual reality game Snow World to occupy burn patients' minds during painful wound cleaning or physical therapy.
Snow World's the opposite of fire. Snowy, cold. It's supposed to cancel out and help distract them from remembering their original injury.
And Nathan touched the pot and himself.
6-year-old Nathan Neisinger has endured skin grafts, months of wound care, and more pain than safe doses of narcotics can kill.
It can ease their pain, but their mind's still directed to, they're going to go into the tank room, they're going to get scrubbed down.
Then there's physical therapy to stretch his scarred skin. But through it all, Nathan's brain can go off to play in a 3D computer-generated world called Snow World.
What we're really trying to do is just to pull his attention away from what's happening in the therapy, to put his attention in the virtual world, and by virtue of that, have him experience less pain.
The University of Washington psychologists Hunter Hoffman and David Patterson created Snow World for treating burn victims.
Another report by Annals of Behavioral Medicine showed that burn patients reported 35 to 50% pain reduction while engaging in immersive virtual reality. And also, what we have to know in terms of exercise, in the aspect of exercise, you can use apps like HoloFit and VisiFit, which allow you to see virtual world while you use your home exercise equipment like rowing machines, stationary bikes, etc. And a meditation app like Trip or guided meditation VR allows you to meditate in the most serene worlds or places. And that's about health. Let's talk about architecture in the metaverse. If you are familiar with Minecraft, which is a popular game, a game where users can build virtual playground, structures, machine, etc. In 2022, Kellogg announced Build for Better, a virtual playground creation contest in Minecraft, and winners' creatives are adopted and replicated in the natural world. That is, what the selected winners, what they built in Minecraft, will be actually be adopted and built in the physical world by a company named Kaboom, a non-profit created to end place-based inequality. So with the metaverse, people who are not skilled in architecture can leverage on available tools and design a structure that they would like to see in the physical world. And this can actually make communities to become better, because more people can be active in the buildings or structures that they demand from government officials or from government, just like creating just like our website creation used to be for highly professionals who have knowledge of coding and complicated knowledge of coding and things like that before you can build a website. But today, with the introduction of applications like Elementor, Diva, WordPress, etc., you don't even need a coding skill anymore to create a website. All you just need is the perfect combination of graphics and things like that, and you can actually have your own website. So this is the simplicity that's also been brought into architecture, that you don't need to be advanced in it before you can actually build something, because of the tools provided by the metaverse. So, and aside from this, let's advance in another very important use case, which is digital twin and smart city. First, let's talk about digital twin. Digital twin is a replica of a structure, part of a structure, building, part of a building, or an entire city in the virtual world. That is a replica of a building, part of a building, a structure, part of the structure, or an entire city in the virtual world. So digital twins are used for tourism, for people who want to visit a location but couldn't, but they can experience that same environment in the metaverse. And even in the fully realized metaverse, you can experience the culture and customs of the location that you are visiting. So aside from visiting a digital twin just for the sake of tourism, it is actually being used also as a form of testing ground for additional services, upgrades, configuration of spaces, and much more. In a simpler term, that means digital twin uses technologies like IoT, Internet of Things, machine learning to AI to collect data from the physical building and transmit in real time to the digital structure. And this will limit high maintenance. For example, you have a building, a replica of a building virtually, and if one room is exposed to chemical, the data is transmitted in real time to the digital twin, and then you can know that, wow, this place is exposed to chemical, something has to be done. So this actually reduces the cost for high maintenance. And also, if you are using machine, there can be a transmission of 40 equipment that needs oiling, equipment that needs maintenance, and a lot of things, so that you won't lose the money when your equipment actually knock and you cannot use them again. So these are advantages of digital twin. The cities of Singapore and Shanghai, both cities currently exist in digital twin. So let's talk about smart city. As you may have known, smart cities are areas that use technology to collect data, which in turn are used to enhance services that are being provided by government, and also help government officials to make informed decisions. Combining these aspects of smart city with digital twin, then we can be sure that there will be a rich data bank that governments, institutions, and corporations and individuals can work with in making informed decisions. And also, what we have to know is that there are universities that have their digital twin already. Victory Health has created digital twin of higher education campus, including the University of Maryland, Alabama A&M University, and the University of Kansas School of Nursing, which you can see here. So another very interesting topic of interest, which is actually a part of our everyday life, is marketing. Marketing in the metaverse will be more immersive. In the fully realized metaverse, you won't just see ads or products, you will experience them. For example, you see a poster of a ad that or a product that you've always wanted to know what it's about. You can enter the poster and be transported into a space that shows you the product, how it's being used, and other things. And companies like Abbott and Audi have teamed up with tech companies to create VR auto experience. So marketing the metaverse will favor those who are really creative. The idea of the metaverse is immersiveness, and you must be able to immerse potential customers into your product. Product and services in the metaverse is about discovery and not just about going to a physical location to shop for what is limited to that location. And fashion experience have also been debuted in the metaverse with events like Decentraland's Metaverse Fashion Week, and brands like Balenciaga have debuted collections in the metaverse and use model of avatars to display their styles and every other thing they want to display. Oh, and another form of marketing that is actually even in vogue right now, being used by Amazon and every other thing, is augmented reality. As I've explained earlier, an app from Edmond allow you to overlay your product in your space to know if it's going to fit or not, if it looks good or not. You can even overlay a car in your garage to know how it will fit or if it will not fit. And Urban Decay and Mary Berlin provides you ways to know if a fashion product will go well with you, with your skin or not. So you can't go wrong shopping to the metaverse. So you can now practically see how whatever it is you want to shop will feel on you or in your space through the use of a app. And IKEA app allows you to fit your furniture in your space before buying, and even calculate the space you have and give you recommendations based on the spaces that you have.
Scan, browse, select, move, and place. So that could mean less of this and less of this and probably more of this.
You can also try makeups before buying them through Sephora's virtual artist app. You can also use Nike Fit to calculate your correct size before buying new shoes. The Warby Parker app also gives you the flexibility of trying different glasses on yourself through AR before buying. And what's worth to know is that according to Meta, there is actually like a 94% higher conversion rate using XR than in using 2D experience in your marketing. And what makes this even more amazing and worth your time is that it has been forecasted that as many people as using mobile phones today will be using AR by 2025. And also worth noting is that according to Citibank, the metaverse is going to be worth about 13 trillion US dollars by 2030. The metaverse is still on development, and so will different commercial usage emerge. And also, just to say this, at a Tom's store in Los Angeles, California, a VR headset allows customers to experience a giving trip, which was the company's community development program in donating shoes to children all around the world. So also people can come who are actually giving to the company. They can see how what it is that they are giving, they are donating out is being used. It's as if they are donating, they are the one really donating to those children, and it makes people want to do more. So different commercial, different marketing usage will accrue in the future as the metaverse emerges. Talking about marketing and a lot of things, before you can be targeted with ads in the metaverse, you will be aware of how your data is being used and also be able to control what you see and what you wouldn't. The metaverse is still evolving and we would all have a part to play in it, and our response will introduce greater measures and better controls into the system. And also, aside from marketing in the metaverse, let's go now to art, entertainment and sports in the metaverse. One of the people that will benefit financially from the metaverse is those involved in art. The metaverse through the NFT technology has a way of proving that an item, collection or art belongs to one person. It is like a digital receipt that can be confirmed on every species to ascertain you own what you claimed to own, and you can also choose who to see it and when. And what's right to know is that there have been reports of NFTs that was originally sold at $4 and sold later for almost a couple $1,000,000. So the value is the non-fungible and rarity of whatever it is that the collection, the NFT that you own. That is, it can be reproduced or interchanged easily with something else. There are different marketplaces like Binance, Sketchy-Hub, OpenSea, where you can create, which is mint, and sell your NFTs. If you're an art creator, this is a good place to be. Also, artists today uses AR to display their artwork in another location to viewers, like bringing the Statue of Liberty and displaying it in Croatia or Argentina. So if you have access to a MetaQuest VR, you can visit Angle Artist virtual gallery of work created by black artists, and also you can also check out Art Space VR to check out an immersive space created by storytellers called Christie and accessible for Quest, Mac and PC. Also, Google Arts and Culture Hub has more than 1,000 museums and galleries, like National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi, Museo Frida Kahlo in Ciudad de Mexico, Museo d'Orsay in Paris, etc. And in terms of travel, we have immersive experience like Google Earth VR. Google Earth VR lets you browse different locations in the world as if you are there, either by walking to this by trekking to this location or by flying across these locations. So if you hate art, then entertainment should actually be your thing. There have been instances of bringing the dead back to life and performing live on stage through holograph display. Tupac holograph in Coachella was presented to fans and it was amazing. To the pandemic and movement restrictions, Metaverse concerts took place in 2020 and 2021, and notable celebrities like Ariana Grande, BTS have performed in VR on Fortnite, and Justin Bieber and John Legend have also held digital concerts in Wix XR. It's the way you lift me up. So if movie is your thing, you can invite your friends to your space and catch up on the latest Netflix series. And also what's right to know is that there are different entertainment programs that are made specifically for VR, including movies, interactive games, etc. And if sporting is your own thing, then you are still not forgotten. The metaverse is still evolving in the aspect of sports. Manchester City, a football team in England in 2022, started building the first metaverse football stadium, a digital replica of Etihad Stadium. You can also join your friends in your spaces to watch a live match together if you want football. These use cases that I've mentioned and other ones that we still mention have actually given us a clue into the opportunities that are available in the metaverse. You can become an organizer and prepare a virtual conference, host conferences in your space. There are different spaces today where people actually host conferences. You don't need to create the space. Some people already own the space. Then with all the tools that are available that enhances conference meeting. You can rent the space, or you can be the owner of such a space. You can help people create space, like becoming a creator. You can become an educator, become a creator and influencer. There are different influencers already in the metaverse. You can host shows, you can launch your fashion collections, you can review your artworks, you can open a competition, and you can also sell virtual items. So these are opportunities in the metaverse. And also what we have to know is that Metaspark is a meta technology that lets users build AR experiences, and hundreds of thousands of creators who have used Metaspark have actually reached over 1 billion people with the experience that they created. And you don't need a coding experience to start with Metaspark. And going from arts, entertainment, and sports in the metaverse, let's touch briefly on commerce in the metaverse. It is quite important we talk about money in the metaverse, because money is part of us as individuals. We need money as individuals, and we also use money wherever we are. So talking about money in the metaverse, physical money cannot be spent in a digital world. Digital money have to be spent in a digital world. And now, talking about money, the technology that will back this money is the blockchain technology. Let me give an example. If you send money to someone right now through PayPal, the person will receive the money. You will have the record, a receipt of sending the money. The person that received the money to will have another receipt for receiving the money. And PayPal is the institution that is actually initiates that receipt, that actually throws their weight behind that transaction, that this transaction is legit. The person that transfers the money have that money to transfer, and then that money has been transferred from his possession and now in your possession, and then you can also transfer the money to someone else. That's how the transactions are being monitored. But that is actually a centralized system of finance, because we have a single authority that is behind the transaction. It is centralized, but in a form of a decentralized system, which is the blockchain. The blockchain technology is a distributed ledger. That is, we have a blockchain technology, and then different people are connected to that blockchain. These different people connected with their computer are what we call nodes. Nodes. They are what we call nodes, and then they have a copy of all the transactions that has ever taken place on the blockchain and the transactions that are currently taking place on the blockchain. So immediately another transaction occurs on the blockchain, the ledger that they have will be updated. So transactions are what we call the blocks. So how they are linked together is what we call chain. That's why we call it blockchain, and we can trace every transaction to the first block, that is the first transaction that occurred. If we take Bitcoin, for example, if we start tracing the blockchain of Bitcoin, we realize that the Genesis block, that the first block that we have, which is the Genesis block, will be that of Nakamoto, who actually formed the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. So every nodes that are connected to the system have a ledger that represent all the transactions that are going on or that has actually occurred on the system, and all these transactions are hashed. So there's actually also they can also influence it. It's actually hashed, so they have the copy and they can trace from previous copy to know if you initiating a transfer, if you actually have what you are trying to transfer. And after transferring it, they also know that you've transferred it, so the ledger is updated, so you cannot transfer it to someone else as well. So we have different nodes connected to the distributed ledger, and they can confirm each transaction. So it is decentralized. There's no centralized authority behind it, but of course it is actually very, very safe. And for it to be unsafe, about more than 50% of the nodes have to be compromised, which is highly, very, very unlikely. So that is how the blockchain works. Different nodes connected to the system are confirming all the transactions that are going on the system. And now, in the metaverse, you can use cryptocurrency to purchase anything, gift people, or save your debit card in your digital wallet, and everyone will be assigned a unique digital wallet, and you can save your cryptocurrency or debit card on the wallet to purchase and receive payment. So the metaverse, and also what we have to know is that the metaverse is being built with a community economy in mind. That is, no single person can stand and make a unilateral decision about finance. a casual member or individual have a share of voting rights and can contribute to a particular marketplace depending on their financial contribution or interaction within the group. And also, the metaverse actually features decentralized finance and decentralized autonomous organization. I will take them one by one. When we're talking about decentralized finance, also known as DeFi, means it's just like how the banking system operates for receiving, for payment, for loans, etc. So it also work that same way on the blockchain, but now without any middleman, which can be done peer to peer. That you can borrow loan, you can get loans. The condition will be written on the blockchain, and if the condition are being met, the transaction will self execute. So you can actually use your BTC to actually get a loan. You can use your BTC. The condition will be written that okay, this is the number of BTC you have to have, this number of something you have to have, and then when you meet the condition, you will get your what you use as a collateral, you will get it back. So that's for that. And when we're talking about decentralized autonomous organization, DAO is an organization that brings some groups of people together who may not even know each other, and these people, as they come together, they decide how they want to invest, how they want to finance their activities, and each member, depending on their contribution to the organization, we have a say. So keeping people safe in the metaverse. How do we keep people safe in the metaverse? Of course, we cannot disregard the fact that there are some big players in the metaverse, even though everyone has an equal opportunity to become big depending on their contribution and their interaction to the spaces that they are involved with in the metaverse. So we have some people who are spending a lot of billions into it, and one of such companies is Meta. And when the founder of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, was talking on safety, he outlined two of their responsible innovation principles. And the first is never surprise people. That is, being transparent about how things work, what data is collected, and how the data is being used over time, and giving people some easy use safety controls, age guidance, parental controls, etc. And the Meta company has also sponsored different research even outside of their organization to inform them on what they need to know and on what they need to incorporate into their technologies even before building them. And when we're talking about privacy as well, privacy is actually possible in the metaverse, just as we can block, report, and unfriend users to the social media. We can also do the same. Such measures are also possible in the metaverse. For example, MetaQuest users in Horizon Worlds can report content in spaces, block, mute, or obscure the voice of another user, or set a boundary to prevent others from invading their personal spaces. And at any time, they can also retreat to a safe zone area, which serve as a protective bubble from others. Also, part of the keeping people safe is also dependent on the community. When communities are created in the metaverse, they will have rules of engagement, unruly behavior, what is expected and what is not expected, and ways of also disciplining any form of unruly behavior will also be introduced by different groups that will make the metaverse safe for everybody. And also, many of the platforms on metaverse requires users to be above 17 years to use their platforms, which will safeguard kids and teenagers. And then talking about ethics in the metaverse, even though we say the metaverse will be decentralized and no central authority could control it, yet it is quite ethical to introduce some ethics into the system to curb violence and irrational behavior. Wherever there is no law and order, misbehavior and going wild west is inevitable. So, for example, cyberbullying is actually a real issue in the social media world that sometimes leads to suicide and even physical crime in the world. So, but in a world that we have co-presence, this can actually be felt even much more. So it is necessary to introduce ethics and also give users the opportunity to guard against unruly behaviors and protect themselves when using the metaverse. And this is actually a reality in the metaverse. So there will be big companies in the metaverse and individual creators who will turn big, and they can each create the rules of engagement for their spaces. And as an individual creator as well, you can also create the rule for your space, and every visitor will have to oblige by your rule. The VRS set is also being developed to include privacy features, security controls that protect generated data such as images and video. And now let's go to some future technology and future development in the metaverse. The metaverse still has a long way to go, and a lot of novel technologies will be adopted for a fully realized metaverse. Meta company is still working and leading research into different aspects of the metaverse, like audio, displays, input, haptics, hand tracking, eye tracking, mixed reality sensors, graphics, computer vision, avatars, perceptual science, artificial intelligence, and more. A company like Olfactory Virtual Reality (OVR) believes that scent, like the sense of smell, to VR experience will boost mental health and well-being. And also touch is another important feature that is being worked on in the metaverse. Currently, you can't experience touch in the metaverse except you use haptic equipment like a suit or gloves. And companies like Tesla Suits and Atronica are building haptic devices that allows users to experience touch in the metaverse. And a report in 2021 by Technavio predicted that the haptic market will grow by nearly $16 billion by 2025. Also, research and development is also going to actually bring everyone, including people with disability, into the metaverse. According to World Bank reports, about 15% of the world population has some form of disability, and that equates to about 1 billion people. So the metaverse is being created to give people with disability some unique flexibility to be part of the metaverse experience, just like everyone else. Gisela Mota, creator of NFTY Collective, is driven by a mission to make disability representation of focus in the metaverse, and this company is creating the Unhidden collection avatars for people with disability, which gives them the flexibility to use and experience the metaverse. That is, there will be avatars that people with disability can easily access, that gives them the flexibility to experience the metaverse just like everyone else. And there are different courses offered by universities like Stanford and Invest today, which is fully devoted to the metaverse. Now, let's finally talk about some challenges, or maybe a little bit of disadvantages of the metaverse. And one of the major disadvantages of the metaverse, or the processes that are involved in making the metaverse a reality, is the issue of climate. As we all know that energy leads to carbon emission, and to process some of the things that are needed to actually run a metaverse, like cloud computing, streaming data to the blockchain, and cryptocurrency mining, this always leads to more energy consumption. However, a company like Meta is actually looking towards renewable energy, and some cryptocurrency, as we know it as well, are working towards reducing the energy consumption of the blockchain technology. So that may be catered for, and I believe we experience more and more ease on that as time goes on. And also, another challenge is that the metaverse is best enjoyed with 5G technology. However, not many countries have access to the 5G technology, so the 5G technology is an issue to actually run a successful blockchain, a successful metaverse processing. And a lot of countries does not have access to 5G, but we believe that development will come. For example, the US government promising $350 billion to aid digital economy in Africa, which actually serves as a development, and other researches and contributions to Africa and other parts of the world to aid a global digital economy. So that is it on what is the metaverse and everything you need to know about the metaverse that I've taken in this video. I hope you've been able to enjoy this video. This video actually took a while to make, a lot of research, a lot of learning, a lot of editing to do, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Kindly do not go without liking this video and subscribing to this channel. So thank you. Have a wonderful experience.